The Housemaid is one of those psychological thrillers that pulls you in with one story and then completely rewires everything you thought you understood by the end. What starts off looking like a familiar tale of a troubled maid and a volatile rich wife slowly reveals something far darker, more calculated, and honestly, more disturbing the deeper you go. Just when you think you've figured out who the real villain is, the movie flips the entire narrative on its head and forces you to rethink every single scene that came before it. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master, and today we're breaking down The Housemaid's shocking ending, uncovering who the real monster truly is, and exploring how the 2025 film changes key moments from Frida McFadden's original novel in ways that make the story even more brutal and unforgettable.
Millie's gonna be living with us?
She's gonna live with us.
Nina was never the real villain. For the first act of The Housemaid, Nina is framed as the antagonist in almost every possible way. She's erratic, cruel, manipulative, and openly hostile toward Millie. She gaslights her, humiliates her, and repeatedly places her in situations designed to make her look incompetent or unstable. From the outside, Nina looks like the classic rich woman who's lost her grip on reality. But the ending forces us to reevaluate every one of those moments. Nina's cruelty is not random, and it's not driven by jealousy or mental instability. It's a performance, a carefully maintained act designed to manipulate Andrew and the world around her. The truth revealed in the film is that Nina has been trapped in an abusive marriage for years, controlled and punished by a man who thrives on power and perfection. Andrew's abuse isn't loud or obvious at first. It's systematic. He sets impossible standards, monitors behavior, and metes out punishment when those standards aren't met. Nina's supposed breakdown, including her institutionalization and the accusation that she tried to harm her own child, wasn't the result of a mental collapse. It was engineered by Andrew as a way to discredit her completely and ensure she would never be believed. Every cruel thing Nina does to Millie is part of a calculated attempt to survive. She needs Andrew to shift his focus. She needs another woman in the house who will attract his attention and, more importantly, become his next obsession. That's why she paints herself unstable and Millie as a victim. Andrew's savior complex does the rest. This revelation doesn't absolve Nina. She knowingly places Millie in danger, but it reframes her actions as those of someone operating with no safe options left.
I want you to feel safe here.
I do.
Andrew is the true monster of the story. Andrew is introduced as the perfect man. He's handsome, wealthy, calm, understanding, and endlessly patient with his difficult wife. He listens, he comforts, he rescues Millie from Nina's cruelty. On paper, he's everything Nina is not. That's exactly the point. Andrew's villainy is rooted in his ability to hide in plain sight. He understands optics. He understands how power works. He knows that as long as he appears reasonable and controlled, no one will ever look closely enough to see what he's doing behind closed doors. The film never gives a single definitive origin story for Andrew's cruelty, but it offers chilling clues. His mother, Evelyn, is a walking embodiment of perfectionism and punishment. Her constant comments about consequences, discipline, and control suggest a childhood where love was conditional and mistakes were unforgivable. This upbringing seems to have taught Andrew that dominance equals order, and that control is not only justified, but necessary. His abuse of Nina and Millie isn't driven by rage alone. It's driven by entitlement. He believes he has the right to correct, to punish, and to reshape the people around him. What makes Andrew terrifying is how ordinary he seems. He's not impulsive. He's not reckless. He's methodical. And that's what ties into the film's larger theme. Abusers often look like the safest people in the room.
What are you doing here?
I work here.
Why Nina chose Millie specifically. Millie isn't chosen at random. Nina doesn't just need someone desperate enough to take the job. She needs someone capable of surviving Andrew. Millie's backstory is one of the most important elements of the film, and it directly connects to the ending. Years before the events of The Housemaid, Millie witnessed a sexual assault at her school. When she intervened, she accidentally killed the attacker. Despite acting in defense, Millie was punished instead. The attacker's wealth, status, and appearance worked in his favor. The system refused to believe Millie. Even the girl she tried to protect stayed silent. Millie lost everything and spent nearly a decade in prison. This experience shaped her in ways Nina immediately recognizes. Millie understands what it means to be disbelieved. She understands how powerful men manipulate perception, and she knows what it feels like to be punished for doing the right thing. Nina believes that when Andrew finally reveals his true nature, Millie won't freeze, she won't submit, she'll fight back. That belief is what drives the entire plan. Nina treats Millie horribly, not because she hates her, but because she needs Andrew to step in as the hero. Every insult, every humiliation is bait. It's a horrific gamble, but Nina is operating from desperation, not malice.
Lifesaver. I don't know what I'd do without you.
The ending explained. Control finally shatters. By the time the climax arrives, Andrew has fully shifted his attention to Millie. Their relationship escalates quickly, mirroring the pattern Nina endured before her. And just like Nina, Millie eventually makes a mistake. In the film, that mistake involves the Winchester family china. When Millie accidentally drops it after being startled by Enzo, Andrew doesn't just react with anger, he reacts with ritualized cruelty. He locks her away and forces her to cut herself with the shards, transforming punishment into a grotesque assertion of power. This moment is one of the biggest departures from the book, and it's also one of the most important. The physical brutality is far more explicit, making Andrew's true nature impossible to ignore. Millie survives, and when the tables turn, Andrew finally experiences the kind of terror he's inflicted on others. His torture mirrors his obsession with control and perfection. The destruction of his family heirlooms, the threat of fire, and the forced self-mutilation strip him of the image he's so carefully curated. When Andrew dies, it isn't framed as a clean victory. It's messy, morally complicated, and deeply unsettling. But it's also the only way the cycle ends. The final moments involving the police hint at the broader truth. Andrew wasn't an isolated case. Others knew, others suspected, and some chose to look away.
Why do you want this job?
I just really enjoy being a housemaid.
The role of Enzo in the film versus the book. Enzo is one of the most noticeable differences between the film and the novel. In both versions, he's the gardener and one of the few people who sees through Andrew, but his level of involvement changes significantly. In the book, Enzo is far more active. He directly tries to help Millie, becomes a confidant, and plays a larger role in facilitating her escape and future opportunities. His relationship with Nina is explicit and sexual, and he's emotionally invested in her survival. The film trims this down. Enzo is more of a warning presence than a rescuer. His connection to Nina is implied rather than explored, and his primary function is to reinforce the idea that Andrew's behavior isn't new. Others have suffered before. This change keeps the focus tightly on Millie and Nina, emphasizing female solidarity over romantic subplots.
Hi, Mrs. Winchester.
Please call me Nina.
Evelyn's expanded role and what she represents. Andrew's mother, Evelyn, is another character whose presence is expanded in the film. In the book, she looms in the background, appearing mostly in memories and at Andrew's funeral. The movie brings her into the present, and the result is chilling. Evelyn openly belittles Nina and worships her son. She embodies the system that created Andrew, one that rewards obedience, punishes imperfection, and values image above humanity. The final implication that Evelyn may suspect what really happened, yet chooses silence, reinforces one of the film's bleakest truths. Abuse doesn't survive in isolation. It survives because people protect it.
God, what kind of monsters are we?
The thematic differences between the book and the film. While the film is largely faithful to the novel's plot, its changes make the story more visceral and more explicitly about power. The violence is harsher, the punishments are more symbolic, the abuse is less ambiguous. The book leans heavily on psychological tension. The film externalizes that tension through physical acts that leave scars. Both approaches work, but the movie's ending feels designed to leave the audience unsettled rather than satisfied. The switch from Kathleen's father being the suspicious detective in the book to her sister in the film also reinforces the theme of shared understanding among women who've survived men like Andrew. It's not about justice through institutions, it's about recognition.
You need to be more careful next time. You've ruined my entire day.
What the ending really means. The Housemaid doesn't end with closure. It ends with survival. Nina escapes. Millie moves forward. But the system that allowed Andrew to exist remains intact. That's the film's most haunting message. Andrew isn't special. He's just protected. By shifting the focus away from a single villainous woman and exposing the rot beneath respectability, The Housemaid transforms from a simple thriller into a story about how power shields abuse, how victims are forced into impossible choices, and how survival sometimes requires becoming something you never wanted to be. And that's what makes the ending linger long after the screen goes dark.
The job is mostly cleaning, organizing, some light cooking.
Our nerdy thoughts. The Housemaid doesn't end with neat answers or easy justice, and that's exactly why it lingers long after the credits roll. It forces us to sit with the uncomfortable reality that monsters don't always look like monsters, and that survival sometimes comes at a terrifying cost. By flipping our expectations and exposing how power, image, and control protect abusers, the film leaves us questioning how many Andrews exist in plain sight. If you enjoyed this deep dive into The Housemaid's ending and the key differences from the book, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more movie breakdowns, and let me know in the comments what you thought of that final twist and whether the film or the novel hit harder for you. Until next time, stay curious, stay nerdy, and I'll see you in the next one.
Nina, where are they?
Hey, what's going on?
Millie?
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.